Let's start. Well, first of all, I want to say to all of you that there are some certain benefits from this whole situation, and one of them seems to be this ability for us, the Zoom, which I really think is quite wonderful. First of all, it's absolutely lovely to have this chance to see you all. I've missed you all since I met you all, and some of you I've never met. So I do actually feel that this is the beginning of a very, very important way forward. To be honest with you, a month ago, this whole circumstance in the world wouldn't have seemed at all possible. It's unprecedented. We've never seen the like. And it's absolutely extraordinary that what we've been talking about for many, many years, all the times I've trained any of you and talked to you, we've always talked about why fetal biophysics will be the medicine of the future and why it's so tremendously important. This sort of medicine, vibrational medicine, is very, very elderly, it's very old, it's timelessly old. But the real truth is that since man and life started to begin, the real issue with our health lies not just in taking pharmaceutical chemical medication, but also to understand the very depth of our souls on every level of consciousness, our emotional patterns, our lifestyles, our belief systems, our religions, our ability to understand and interact with people. And this concept, which we refer to as our heart block theory, plays a dramatic and vital, important role in being able to help humanity with every situation and every circumstance which we are absolutely faced with. Now, the truth is that I have told many of you in many of our lectures and many of our discussions that we would be faced with airborne AIDS, the like of which the world will never have seen before. AIDS and HIV was terrifying because it came from nowhere. It seemed to strike people down, but it was sexually, whereas airborne AIDS is something very different because that is actually a condition that can be spread in droplets, it can be spread in the wind, it can be spread in the air, and it is therefore an invisible killer, and it's therefore an invisible enemy that nobody can touch or feel. And that's what makes it so frightening. In this last month, the world has been shut down in a very dramatic way. And the way that they've managed to achieve this is quite simply by the use of the word fear, generating fear. Fear is a very big enemy in our lives. And from many, many perspectives, fear is probably one of the most destructive things, because if you engender fear in people's hearts and souls, you then can control them. That is really what's happening in the world, is a massive control. If you listen to the wording, the jargon on the news and the television, it's all, so many people have died, hundreds of people have died, 600 people died yesterday, and they all died of COVID-19. Do you actually honestly think that this is true? The answer is, it is not true. The truth is that the world mortality rate is pretty stable and has been intriguingly stable. If you really investigate the graphs about mortality, you'll see that there is a tremendous stability about the way people live and die. And there is a very large death rate in the world every single year, particularly in the Western countries where we have the flu virus. In 2017, something like, I think it was extraordinary, staggering amount of people died of flu in Europe. And nobody took any notice of that. At least 5 times as many people who've died of COVID in London and England in the last quarter of the year. It hasn't even started to touch, if you look at the statistics of death. But also there's one other factor that we seriously need to think about, and that is that COVID-19 isn't separate. It is not just a separate virus that sprung out of absolutely nowhere, of Wuhan or Wuhan, from the markets. The truth is that it isn't possible for virus to spread in that way.